some people are using scare tactics to tell you Social Security won't be there for you in retirement, and that we have to raise the eligibility age or cut benefits. Wrong.
You ever get the feeling that if Robert Reich were around at the time of Galileo, he'd have been the first to say, "What do you mean the sun doesn't circle around the earth? I mean, duh, look up in the sky, stupido," which is Italian for stupid. But look, that is the thing about denying reality, and in this case, the laws of financial physics. Fewer people paying into Social Security and a lot more getting Social Security. As things stand now, the math says something's got to give. Enter Mr. Reich, who says, you know what? You could just lift the payroll tax, the overall Social Security tax, that caps out at around $118,500, and just make it limitless. And voila, done. All funding issues solved. My next guest, not quite convinced of that. John Allison, the former BB&T chairman and CEO. Well, yeah, I guess you can always raise taxes to make things hunky-dory, but I don't think that gets away from the reality. But what do you make of this?
Neil, if Robert Reich says it, I'm going to assume it's not true. So that's my beginning point. But Social Security is going broke. Obviously, you can raise taxes and cover the shortfall. But what are the consequences to that? What impact does that have on employment, on productivity? What does that have on growth? And what does it have on the allocation of resources in the U.S.? Are we going to keep allocating more and more money to old people at the expense of education and other programs, national defense? I mean, there's no free lunch, and the problem is that people think they're paying for their own retirement, but they're actually paid for their grandmother's retirement because there's no trust funds, and that's the problem. And mathematically, Social Security does go broke.
And by the way, this idea that if you just raise taxes, make it limitless, or raise the cap, we did that with Medicare, and the argument was at the time, we're going to keep that Medicare tax as a percentage of your income, no matter how much you earn, whether it's $90,000 or $900 million. And the idea was that would shore up Medicare. Medicare is still less than, 13 years from going bust. Not even that. There are some actuarial tables that say within the next 8 years, but I'll be generous. So obviously you can't tax your way out of the problem.
No question about it. One of the simpler solutions is to really go to a defined go to a defined contribution plan instead of a defined benefit plan, right, which is what most businesses have done. It's an obvious solution.
But, there are the other solutions, the likes of Chris Christie and others have proposed. Means test Social Security, maybe limit it, maybe raise the Social Security age over time. These are unpopular measures, to be sure, but at least there are Republicans who are saying that as it stands now, it is simply undoable. But unless we get on board with the reality of this and think we could just tax our way out of this, we will never solve this, right?
That's true, and the progressives don't want to face the facts. And also, you don't want incentives for people to retire too early, given how much longer people are living. It's a bad economic consequences to incenting early retirement.
All right. Well, he reached out to a lot of people via Huffington Post to say that obviously they think that made him a rock star.